In fact, he's soon employed back at Universal for a film known as The Wicked Darling. This is 1919. This is a pickpocket melodrama. The Wicked Darling is, in fact, Lon Chaney's first encounter with the great Todd Browning. Browning was born in 1882 and dies in 1962. Browning and Chaney will make 10 films together. Now, Browning, as I mentioned, is one of the most remarkable directors of the silent era. He creates disturbing films. He is obsessed with the morbid and the macabre. Browning runs away from home to join a traveling circus. He works as a clown on vaudeville. He travels the world in blackface, a two-man minstrel show. And then he goes to Hollywood, where he works on several Biograph and Reliance productions. His early films are routine romances and action movies without that macabre flair. But a film known as The Virgin of Stromboli, which is 1919, I believe, makes his reputation as a virtuoso craftsman. Now, Wicked Darling presents the underworld in an uncompromising toughness. Browning never lets his characters look like actors. The film is alive with streetwalkers, dope fiends, criminals. The movie establishes Priscilla Dean as a new kind of film heroine, one that lives on both sides of the law. Chaney plays Dean's pickpocket cohort, Snoop Connors, with a mixture of vicarious criminality and of course, a virtuous turnabout in the last reel. Browning applies a strong, warped interior logic to his characters. There's strong dual natures, alter egos in all his characters. Viewers are confronted by a sympathetic protagonist that has a crippled mind and soul. Wicked Darling is a huge success. Browning and Chaney will soon create a series of offbeat melodramas, all of them maddeningly alike in plot and tone with few variations. Films that will deal with dark, hidden identities and scenarios of physically and psychologically tortured souls, often using the circus from Browning's past. He uses his circus experience very often in his films. Now, I want to get into Outside the Law. This is 1921, which is the second collaboration with Todd Browning. This is a vicious gangster picture and a very influential crime drama. Chaney is a ruthless mobster in the San Francisco underworld known as Black Mike Silva. But he has a dual role in this film as a young Chinese man as well. Outside the Law is a nocturnal thriller and crime programmer. The film also reunites Priscilla Dean from Wicked Darling with Chaney and Browning. The movie was shot on the Universal backlot with some scenes photographed in San Francisco. And the movie strives for realism. It has a pretty big budget. The sets are packed with glass backing of oversized panoramic photos through which light is projected in order to give the impression of San Francisco. The film is a significant turning point in the development of the gangster movie and character psychology. Now, as I mentioned, Chaney plays dual roles. In some scenes, he plays opposite himself in the same film. Chaney extends his reputation in Outside the Law as the man of 1,000 faces. The Chinese man he portrays shoots and kills his character Black Mike Silva. Chaney is now the shapeshifter, the doppelganger of American cinema and culture. Transformation, transcendence on a grand scale. Chaney is a living, breathing, diabolical assault on the boundaries of both cinema and the human personality. Now, Outside the Law is actually remade 5 years later by Todd Browning with Edward G. Robinson taking on the Black Mike Silva role. All right, now, with that thought, we're going to take a musical break. When we come back, we're going to examine Chaney's work during the 1920s in a series of offbeat thrillers and macabre melodramas that packed people into theaters and laid the foundations for the American horror film. But first, a little bit more music.